here in my city of Bieloi, I have quite a few buildings, and we are meant to be Vikings. You see there's a Viking longship over there. It's a fairly Viking-looking place, but it doesn't feel medieval enough. There's something weird about it that just doesn't work quite right. I mean, these two buildings here, the white one and this spruce one, they kind of look like they wouldn't be too out of place in like the 1700s. And this is kind of like a problem that I find in a lot of fantasy worlds. They always seem like modern with swords, and that's what this is feeling like right now. I'm not liking it. I think it needs a better vibe. The buildings need to be really medieval. They need to not be all like straight like this. This is a big problem here. All of these buildings are straight, but the road is definitely not straight, which just leaves these crazy gaps like here where you just can't do anything with it. It's all a big problem, so this place needs to be revamped. I'm going to basically redesign this entire upper area. I'm still going to keep the buildings here, but I'm also going to add a new one, which is going to go right there, and it's going to be a pub where people can drink beer. It's going to be very nice. So let's get working on redeveloping this whole area right now. Well, we have made some pretty dramatic changes over here at the square, the forum perhaps as you might call it. It used to be a couple blocks higher, and now it's a couple blocks lower. Why that is might confuse you, but I have a good reason. Because right here, we're going to have a building. It's going to be a pub, and it needs space to exist. This whole area was a pretty steep slope, which just made doing anything here quite difficult, especially jumping around and having a square here. I think having squares and places where people can congregate is very important on public servers, and it has to feel natural rather than just look good. And this looks good and feels natural, at least in my opinion. So I put this rock wall here. It looks a little bit weird, okay? I'll admit it looks a little bit weird. But the reason I did that is because this road is at such a weird angle. And if I had like some steps, some like real square steps that look kind of like a Greek temple, that's kind of what I was thinking initially, you would have to be climbing these stairs at this angle like this. You'd have to be going this way or 90 degrees on the other side, but then you'd have to be going at such a weird angle, and then you'd have to turn to get into the church, and any way it was just going to be annoying. So I came up with this odd compromise where there's like this naturalistic staircase step that allows you to go perfectly straight into the entrance of the church. The importance is on the feeling, not necessarily the looks. It feels right, it feels comfortable. I'm saying a bunch of words. It makes me sound like a modern architect. I'm talking about how it makes me feel. This one, it makes me feel, oh, maybe that makes sense. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. But over here, we've also put a little building over the entrance of Covenant Cave. And I've also built this retaining wall over the water. There is actually no water here. I had to drain the whole thing because I'm lowering it. It was originally even above this layer. No, it was about here. So it was several blocks taller. And because I lowered the square, I have to lower the water, though I haven't actually put in the water yet. So what's next up on our list is to build this pub. I've already designed it. It's going to go here. It's going to have a very strange shape. I'm not liking this area. It doesn't feel like a real medieval town. So this pub is going to be medieval maxing. It's all going to be on weird angles. It's going to be kind of thrown together, and it's going to look kind of like not very planned at all. And it's going to have some texturing. I'm kind of transitioning into being a normal builder instead of doing my weird non-textured stuff that you'll see around here. I've been quite reluctant to learn texturing because I think it's overrated, but in this case, it's going to look very nice. It's going to go here. It's going to be a pub where there's going to be lots of alcohol and fun times. If this building isn't medieval maxing, then I don't know what is. It's a half-timbered building with some vertical white stripes on it. I couldn't get any diagonal beams to work because it's a little too small, so I've gone with these vertical ones. I think they still get off the medieval vibe. The bottom part of this very strange angled section is a little bit weird and unconventional. Okay, there is a weird error. There's like trapdoors here and not over here because our trapdoors like these ones, I couldn't put any down there, so it looks a little bit strange, but you can look past it, hopefully. and the place is kind of higgledy-piggledy, so I think it's fine to be that way. Really, I'm not sure what this whole entrance is supposed to be. I just saw a creperie in France that looked like this, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna build that in Minecraft. So I have here, and I think it works pretty well. As you can see, the entire thing is on a slight angle. It was a lot of pain to work with this angle, but I think it has turned out pretty well. There is a side bit here with a hipped roof. I think hipped roofs can look pretty medieval, and I think this one does too. It sells the idea quite well. And there are lots of little spruce bits coming out in here and there and everywhere, and this area at this view, I think, is probably my favorite. There's so much going on here. I don't even really know what to talk about first. I guess I'll just mention that chimney is nicely textured, and in fact the roof is nicely textured. As you can see, the top is slightly brighter and the bottom is slightly darker. I think it works really well. I think this might become my new design for roof that I'll use everywhere. You can see I've just been using the totally non-textured this stuff, which isn't very good. This, whole lot better. Also, they're not made of stairs because the angle was impossible to get stairs working, so I just use fill blocks and they're just as fine. There is a winding staircase that goes around the building and onto the inside, which we'll see in a little bit. And there is an addition looking thing down here. It's quite blank, but has some pretty solid texturing there that I've added. I've been trying to come up with really good spruce texturing, and you'd be surprised at how hard it is. There aren't a whole lot of blocks that look very sprucey that aren't literally just spruce, but I've put all of them that I know together here to create this texturing, and I just love how all the pieces come together to create this angle. I don't know why, but it's so cool. I like it. And over here, we have a second edition looking part of the building that helps to keep it in line with this road. I didn't want to have any big gaps around here, so I added this to help out, and it helps with the composition too. It makes it look a little bit more full and alive, I guess. Now moving on to the interior, you will see that it does not quite look like the average medieval pub you'll see in a movie. I mean, I think it still feels pretty medieval, but it's a nice place. It has nice furniture. These are tables with tablecloths. There's a bar over here with lots of racks to store your liquors. It's not super grimy and dirty and filled with water and poop like it is in the movies, because that's not what pubs were like ever. No one would ever want to go to a disgusting place. So this is a very refined little pub that you might actually want to go to with your friends on a Friday night. I talk like I'm totally not a miner. I mean, if you couldn't tell from my voice, I had never been to a friggin' pub. This is just what I imagine it would look like. And look, there is a fireplace to keep the place warm in the winter, because pubs are not immune to weather. If you go around the back here, you will see that there is also an inn space. This is like a little lobby with some chairs that you can sit in. I think it looks quite nice. There's a little rug. Ooh, I missed some of that leaf. There's supposed to be some here. Whatever, well, there are also some rooms that you can stay in with a bed and a chair and a closet. Quite simple, very small, and I don't think I'll ever use these for anything. The other one's basically identical as well. And that is the pub. I think it's a very nice building. I think it's a great addition to this little town, and it helps to frame the church from down here pretty well. I've been designing the whole city around this view. I've fallen in the water. Around this view here, so that you can see the church perfectly framed when you walk in from the dock. And I think it's coming along quite nicely. I added this little picnic table here next to the wool shop earlier because I feel like this is a really nice spot to enjoy the view. The church is framed very nicely, and you get to see a little bit of this building, and there will be lots more buildings down there. So this might end up being one of the best views in the town later on once we have more progress. Well, that's all very nice, but there have been some shocking new developments down south of this city. Recently, I built this here castle on this island, and I think it is a pretty cool castle. It's got a bunch of texturing, which is very hip and in style right now. Everyone loves texturing, so I've done some, and I think it's very awesome. But there is a bit of a problem. That is, this whole island chain is claimed by Goldman, and I kind of knew that, but built this castle here anyway, so he is not too happy about that. I mean, who could have guessed? So, he has summoned me to court. Now, I don't know what authority he has to bring me to his country's court and to have me tried as some kind of criminal, because obviously I have not broken any laws here. But we're gonna humor him out because I think it'd be fun, and I guess we'll see what happens. I don't necessarily have to listen to him. I mean, I might if I feel like it, but considering that he's a foreign nation, I don't really need to do anything. So we're gonna go to court and see if we can argue our case and hopefully win.
Today we're considering the justness of Jacob's Castle located between West Grant and Fort Grant and its ownership, as well as the slander of Skotar. So, our plaintiff, Dr. Goldman, for the sake of our audience, could you please restate your claim and confirm if you continue to stand by it?
I stand by my claim that Mr. Jacobulus of Skavdalen has built a castle within Skotar territory and slandered Skotar.
Our defense, Jacob, if you'd like, you can make your statement or just confirm if you want to stand by it.
My statement: I did not build a castle in Skotar territory because the territory is only effective if it's present in the map channel, but the map that Goldman submitted could never have been on the map channel because it was inaccurate and did not include all of the territories, so the land was not Skotar's, and I have no recollection of ever slandering Skotar.
Dr. Goldman, you may question our defendant.
Mr. Jacobulus, did you or did you not build a castle on an island right next to one of our forts?
Well, I don't know if I'd say it was right next to it. I mean, they're definitely not touching. There's an ocean in between them.
But it is very close in proximity.
Well, that's a pretty subjective thing to say. I mean, I think the other fort I have is closer to some of your territory than this one.
But it's within the island chain that is claimed by the Empire of Skotar.
It is on the island chain that is desirable for Skotar, for sure.
Okay, and did you or did you not state in your video that Skotar is oppressive, and you claimed that Skotar threatened to ban your religion?
Did I mention that they specifically threatened to ban the religion? I actually don't remember.
Yes.
I actually don't remember saying that. I mean, maybe I forgot.
In your latest video where you constructed a castle on one of Skotar's islands, you stated that Skotar was, quote, oppressive. Is that correct?
Yes, I did say that.
Yes.
That is what I said.
And did you immediately afterwards say that apparently they threatened to ban your religion?
I may have said that, but if you want me to clarify my statements, I certainly can.
Additionally, in the video, you did mention that you were building on our land, which you have admitted that it is our land. Is that correct?
I never admitted that it was your land, though I did indicate that you wanted it, or that you had said that you wanted it to be your land, that you intended to possess it, but that I never admitted that you owned and controlled the land. You see, the intricacies of the English language allow for me to say that it might be Skotar's land in the same way that the West is Brooks's land, though he does not control all of it.
Why do you not believe that I control the land which you built the castle upon?
Because, in the official map channel, those islands are not owned by anyone.
Goldman, please make a final statements.
As I was saying, the map in which I drew up the borders on those islands, yes, it does have slight inaccuracies regarding Skavdalen's territory, but that does not mean I do not claim that territory. Because I have built a fort on one of those islands.
Well, I didn't build on an island that you had built a fort on. I built on an island that was near a fort that you had built.
But it was within proximity.
Within proximity is such a general statement. There's a huge body of water in between it, hundreds and hundreds of cubic blocks of water in between. I mean, you'd have to get a sailboat. No one could swim that far.
In your video where you constructed the castle, the Fort Grant is visible from your castle. And your castle is visible from Fort Grant.
Being on the ocean, I mean, the ocean's very flat and you can see quite a far distance.
But 100 meters is not very far.
I have my render distance set to the maximum that it can be, which is far more than most people, and when I had some friends come to my island, they couldn't see.
Well, I have my render distance set on 12, and I could see the castle of Fort Grant.
Well, I do believe 12 is above the average of 8, or default of 8, right? Most servers have it set to 8, some even have it set to 4.
Okay, Goldman, I'm going to ask you to yield your time. Jacob, you may question our plaintiff.
Did you include the independent nation of Borg in your map that you submitted?
No, but that is an inaccuracy that I will correct.
You will correct it, but it has not been corrected.
It is in the progress of being corrected.
Having missed a country in your map, do you think that that map could have been submitted to the map channel?
I suppose not.
Do you recall the time where Brooks tried to encircle another country but was blocked, and his map was not ever considered final until a revised version had been submitted to the map channel?
No, I do not.
Well, it did happen.
Hmm.
So then, if in the past a map which had not been finalized and had errors in it was not accepted in the map channel and was not considered official, how does that not apply to this situation?
I would guess in the scenario that you were stating that Brooks overstated what he he over exaggerated what he could claim. Now, what I have claimed on my inaccurate map is only very small.
Well, the difference between the furthest island and the other furthest island is quite a substantial distance, and there are quite a few islands. In fact, probably more islands than anyone else has on the server, and he had a strong claim to his territory. He even built towers in the places. He built stuff there. He had forts, too. But it wasn't accepted because it was too big. But the point is that it was not treated as a real claim at all, and everyone was free to build in the area and use the area for mining and whatever.
But in your video, you did say that you were building on our land.
Let's get the fact checkers here. I want to make sure this is true.
I request Sawyer, may you be able to check this for yourself?
Yeah, I'm watching the video right now, boss. Okay, so we have a quote. I haven't actually asked permission to build here yet because Goldman claimed the area.
Okay, so after this point, we all just kind of ramble on about the same things we were talking about earlier, and nothing new really happens. And then there was also the charge of the slander, but it was kind of not very interesting. And I'm tired of editing, so I'm gonna skip to the end. Just imagine that I'm so awesome throughout the rest of this, and I totally win everything. Because that's totally what happened.
My final ruling, this kind of goes against the procedure that you gave me, Goldman, so I'm going to get a little creative if that's okay. So, in the case of slander, Skotar, specifically Goldman, has aligned itself against Mongabingborism and the Mountain Woman religion on multiple cases. So I'm going to say that Jacobulus is not guilty of slandering Skotar.
No.
In terms of the territory, I think the best and only solution is an updated map that gives Goldman all the territories except for the one that Jacob's castle is on. I think that's the...
So basically, you went more similar with the losing option, where I lose.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think...
Out of the
Can
kindness of my heart, I will invest in the royal shop of Milan because I think there are still some stocks available.
Oh my gosh!
So I'll buy some stocks.
Absolute cinema.
I am kind of shocked. I am kind of surprised. I really didn't think we would win that. I don't know if I really deserved to win that, but I guess I'm a great enough orator that I got the victory, so I don't have to do anything, but I said I'd be generous, so I'm going to buy into some stocks of Milan. Look, see, I bought some, so thank me now, because I'm the best. The economy isn't very great because there are only so many diamonds in circulation, which makes people feel like their diamonds are too valuable to be ever spent on anything, which means that the economy here and the stock market isn't great because there aren't very many profits because people are too scared to spend money. Well, if you want to make the economy better, you could always join this server right now, and the more people we have, the better the economy should be, theoretically. Although I have proven myself to not be a very good economist already, but either way, you should still join. Link is in the description. Make sure to smash that like button and subscribe if you could tell that all of those clips were totally out of order. It's been a really long time that this video has been in production. It started in December and now it's February. It's been a very long time. I've been held up working on an architecture portfolio for a scholarship. Look at this drawing right here. You see that? Yeah, I made it myself and I think it's pretty cool. But now that's done, so I can get back on Minecraft, and I have been building, as you can see. I mean, this is the stuff from earlier. I didn't do anything more. Actually, no, I did. Check up inside here. You'll see we added a painting plugin, a custom painting plugin. So I've made this little side chapel, and it's dedicated to Our Lady of the Mountain. Does that name sound familiar? It was mentioned in the court case. I'm gonna leave the meaning of this chapel up to interpretation because I like to incite chaos. We have built a lovely pub and a public square, so today has been a very community-oriented day. We have done lots of things to help people come together and have fun, but the tides of the world might be changing, and things may not be so jolly in the future as tension is once again bubbling up out there across the seas, but that's a problem for another day. So for now, that is all I have to say, and it is the end of the video. Congratulations for making it this far. Again, let me remind you that you can join the server if you click the link in the description. It's not necessarily public, you have to make an application, but we accept most of them, so you should join, try to make an application, and you can play Minecraft with me, your favorite Minecraft YouTuber. So that's all I have to say, so goodbye.